Yo, what's up, everybody? It's the Smokin Joe radio show where we are back. And today we're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers and what a game it was last night. Let's get into it. The way that the game started, I had that feeling again, right? Like, here we go. Cavs gonna get down to Boston. Boston's gonna bully their way into this. You know, they were hitting everything. The way that Boston came out, they were so amped up and ready for this game. And I'm not saying that the Cavs weren't, but off the start of that game, I started to get that feeling like maybe the Cavs are just outmatched by Boston. Maybe the experience that Boston has, maybe the confidence that Boston has, maybe, the length, the talent, the skill, maybe all of it was just too much for Cleveland, as good as Cleveland is. So the start of that game, when they come out, what is it, the 8-0 run? Timeout. They come out 11. Boom, boom. It's up to 25-3 before you know it. So at that point, you start to get that feeling like, what is it? Is it lack of confidence? Is it were the lights too bright? Or did Boston just come out in a barrage? Because the Cavs weren't making shots that they normally hit. But then, another timeout, 25-3. Kenny Atkinson pulls his team together and he talks to him. Darius Garland comes out, couple moves, drives to the basket, easy bucket. Defensive stop on the other end. We had brought in, I think Hunter came in at that time, which was he may be the key to this Boston series. A lot of unsung things he did, but we can get to that. Next time down, boom, hit a three. All right. Now if we went 3 points to 8, 25-8. Come down, I think Sam Money Merrill came in. That second unit of the Cavs is going to be the difference maker. I know everybody says, oh, you can only go, 6, 7 deep, 8 at the most in the playoffs, right? But it's really 6 or 7 core guys, right? What if that's not true? What if we can break that mold? Because when our second unit came in, and towards the end of this game, Boston was gassed. We were not, right? There's something that Kenny Atkinson's doing. So slowly but surely, we started chipping back away at that lead. Jason Tatum, he's good, right? Let's just make no mistakes about it. There's no other way around it. He was doing his thing against the Cavs, driving to the bucket, getting tough shots, going up strong. We didn't really have an answer for him. I did see Dean Wade over there on Jaylen Brown a few times, and I guess the analytics are right about Dean Wade, right? It seemed like when he got switched over or put on, or when he was, consistently on Brown, his shots went down, his points went down. It was nice to see that one of our second unit guys coming off the bench can go toe to toe defensively. Now offensively there's some trade-off, but I'll take that because we got firepower. So slowly throughout this game, you're starting to see that once we take some of these other role players out for the Celtics and put it all on Tatum, he can't do it himself. So at the end of the first quarter, when Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hunter came in, and then Sam Merrill, you saw that run. Ty Jerome, microwave, instant heat. You bring him out, something's gonna happen, right? You saw some parts of where he struggled against the length in Boston, some of his drives to the hoop, but he had his eyes open for playmaking. He hit a couple just dagger threes. And then DeAndre Hunter hitting a three on the baseline. There was a lot that those people, those players off the bench brought to this game. I also noticed on the defensive end that Evan Mobley cannot check Jason Tatum. You know, you saw 2 or 3 drives at the end, or 2 or 3 possessions at the end where Boston had it, and Jason Tatum was covered by Mobley. And, you know, I don't know if Mobley's overextending on a reach. Jason Tatum's getting right by him. He's going up on him. There's a mismatch there, and I know positionally they don't really line up, but you know, we have to be conscious of those switch offs. And I'd rather have a smaller, you know, if you're going to switch off and make the sacrifice, I'd rather have a smaller guard like Garland, because the way that I've seen Garland defend Tatum, you know, it's effective enough to bother him, and then we have to bring in help on the inside. That does bring up the drive and dish to like players like Pritchard and Horford, but you know, they didn't have as big as games this time. We put it all on the shoulders of Jason Tatum, and he couldn't do it. So you know, at the end of the first half, I saw the value of the Cavaliers' second unit, and I also saw, you know, some of the lack of defensive ability on our side to cover Jason Tatum. However, there wasn't anybody else that they were going to let beat us. White had a few big shots. You know, Horford had a shot here. Jaylen Brown was also playing good. But like I said, as soon as that switch off would come, or as soon as they had brought in Dean Wade to cover him, you'll notice that there was a difference in his offensive production. Now, coming right out of the gate in the second quarter, the Cavs were playing like the Cavs normally play. This quarter was more of a back and forth between the two. You still saw Boston maintaining their, you know, Tatum was maintaining his dominance on the drive, on a shot. He had like 30 first half points. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's a great game for most players in the NBA he had in the first half. But Darius Garland came back to life, right? Some of the moves he was making, some of the drives he was making, it was impressive, right? Donovan Mitchell, he was fighting and staying strong. He was that cohesive, solid voice throughout the game, you know, keeping everybody kind of in there to stay cool. Never be too high, never be too low, and we'll get through this. So this was one of those quarters that you'll probably see more of. Like, it was a stark contrast to the first quarter. I think the first quarter was more of an aberration for the Cavaliers, and the second quarter was more of a representation of what the majority of the games and the times that they play, it will be like, hopefully, in the, you know, Eastern Conference Finals. Right out of the gate, the Cavs were ready to attack. Boston wasn't going to let up. But that Donovan Mitchell dunk, that was a tone setter right there and a pace changer for the Cavaliers. The majority of the third quarter, to me, felt like it was, who can we get Tatum mismatched on and have him go to the rack, whether it was Sam Merrill, whether it was Jared Allen. As long as Jared Allen is, you start to move him out away from that basket, moving with the feet, he's gonna get by him. I felt like the defensive adjustments that Kenny Atkinson made were phenomenal, because it literally put it in a lot of it was ISO ball with Jason Tatum. One man is not gonna beat a team like the Cavs. It's going to take more than one man. We kind of put it on Boston and put it on Tatum's shoulders, said go ahead and do it. When he was mismatched with it, and when the offense was ISO ball, you know, it was working for him, but how long can that last? Through the whole game, he has to maintain this level of energy the whole game, and you just can't do that at this level. So the Cavs making him work for it, right? And he was getting buckets. Shout out to Tatum. He was doing his thing, right? But the Cavs, they maintained who they were. Good ball rotation. The dogs in Donovan and Darius, they came out and they fought and fought and fought. And look, you know, they were down big in the first quarter. Halftime, where they were down like 10, 12. Fourth quarter, we're going into it down 3. At this point, you know, the way the game started, I didn't have a lot of confidence. I knew the Cavs could make some runs, but you know, defending champion Boston, I mean, these aren't slouches, man, right? Boston is a great team, a championship team, right? The Cavs, man, fought tooth and nail to do everything they could to come back. And man, it was a valiant effort. So we started the fourth quarter. It was a 3-point ball game. And you know what? This is when I think the rotation, the defensive mindset of Kenny Atkinson, the ball movement, I think this is when it all finally paid off for the Cavs. And they showed that they may have what it takes to be the next champions. Let's get into the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, in the early beginnings, there were 2 points of the game when I'm watching and I'm sitting there and they dish it out to Mobley. Mobley setting up for a 3. And we say it's like 1-on-1. Or maybe at that time, yeah, it's 1-on-1. I don't remember the score off the top of my head. Mobley setting up for the shot. And my mind, I'm like, no. I'll turn away from the screen. My girl's like, yeah. Boom, he hits it, nothing but net. Come back down again. I say, no. They dish it to Mobley. 3, bang, hits it. Turning point. We finally took the lead. And Mobley has not, at this point, he has not been playing the best game against Boston, right? So when you had Garland and Mitchell, they were starting to catch their stride. You know, Ty Jerome, Sam Money Merrill he was putting in some shots and putting in work. Just everybody adding a little bit. Those 2 unexpected threes by Mobley did a lot for this team, man. They were at the right time. So, you know, as much as I was sitting there like, no, Mobley, no. Mobley for 3, count it. They went in. So, you know, hey, I hated it in the moment right there, and I'll admit it. But I love the result. I think one of the mistakes that Boston made at certain points in the fourth quarter was switching to that zone. The Cavs are a jump shooting team. Deep threes. They will drop bombs. You didn't think they were going to miss the whole game, switching to a softer zone and allowing some of these shots. The Cavs were able to maintain this lead. They were starting to get momentum in this game and take it, and I think that the zone didn't work out as well. On the defensive side for the Cavs, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were just bullying our guys, man. Bullying through elbows, pushing off to them. We're going to have to play tougher against those two. That's what it is. You know, it ain't about getting a foul. Fouls don't matter. Stop yelling at the ref. Who cares? I've never seen a single ref change their call because a player argued with them. It is what it is. You just roll on, right? But you gotta stay tougher against these dudes because I noticed it through the whole game. They were pushing off. They were fighting through, and you know, we're not gonna be able to stop them too like that. You know what I mean? We have to match physicality with physicality. End of the game. Cavs are making shots. Jason Tatum's trying to work his way in. You know, he may have missed some shots. You can tell fatigue maybe he's setting in. But when you are at the end of the game and you need a shot and you got Hauser on Garland, I mean, that's advantage Garland every time, right? When he started with the dribbling, the rhythm dribbling, I call it rhythm dribbling, right? Because that's how you do this when you're out there and you're practicing your shot, 3 or 4 dribbles, you shoot it up. I knew it was going in. Then when you came down and you had Jason Tatum set up for that 3, and DeAndre Hunter covered that, right? Got his arm up in the air, touched the ball just enough. That was big. Jason Tatum probably was going to hit that shot. And at that point, it would have made it 119, right? No, actually, it would have been, let me look at the score over here, 121, 120. It would have been 121, 118, right? Stead air ball, block shot, Cavs get it. It's a dundada, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? DeAndre Hunter made a big play in a big moment. Probably still would have won anyways, but that sealed it, right? Big play, big moment. Donovan Mitchell was ice cold this game. And when I say ice cold, I don't mean missing shots. I mean a stone cold killer, right? He did his thing. Darius Garland, you know, rough first half. You know, I don't like to see Garland checking Jaylen Brown. I feel he's too physical. Darius gets hit in the face too much, right? You know, so I want to see them work a little more Dean Wade on there. And then what was the rotation that the Cavs had, right? You had your starting five, and then you had Jerome, Hunter, Dean Wade, Sam Merrill come off the bench, right? Yeah, that's 9 deep. Don't tell me we can't do that in the playoffs. There's no written rule that says that. I know that most teams rely heavily on these core players, but what if involving all these players in the game throughout the season and keeping them there, what if that is the key, right? All these guys are NBA players. They can come in and they can contribute. Giving them opportunities is instilling that confidence in them to be able to come in these big games and take these big shots or step up to these big defensive assignments and to do their job. So shout out to Kenny Atkinson for a phenomenally coached game. Shout out to the Cavaliers for fighting, working, and staying true to who they were as a team to get back into that game and then eventually win it, man. So I'm really hoping in my heart of hearts for a Cavaliers-Lakers final, right, with the Cavs on top. But, let's just take it one game, 1 week, 1 month, 1 day at a time, right? And we'll see what happens when we get there. So thanks for checking us out. This is the Smokin Joe Radio Show. We'll be back next time to talk the Cleveland Browns draft. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, share, do all the stuff you're supposed to. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.